Hi, folks. Welcome. An email from Laura that I recently got introduced to, and she was asking about true no annual fee cards in Canada and which ones I would recommend. And it took me by surprise how little I knew about. Yeah, and I surprised myself about how little I knew about truly no annual fee cards in Canada because I had to pause and think. Usually these things come pretty innately to me. And as soon as I read that, I was like, oh, he's talking about, and she specifically said, not cards that give you first year free. I mean, truly no annual fee cards. Which one would you recommend? And I was like, couldn't even think beyond Tangerine, to be honest. And I had to go look up a few options and whatnot. So I'll throw the question to you and I'll tell you the options that I eventually ended up giving her after doing some pros and cons in my mind. But which would your top three no annual fee cards in Canada be? Uh, Eventually, after a lot of humming and hawing, I kind of ended up giving options of the Ion Visa card with RBC, the Tangerine World, of course, the money back card, which is a strong card, $0 annual fee. And I gave her the Scotia Amex card, the red card. Those were, oh, right. Andy, I didn't even think of CIBC no fees option. That's a good one. Or Aeroplan. Yeah, I guess similarly with TD as well for a true cashback card, which is why I think the Rogers card is very, very strong for a $0 fee card because not only can it become your best card for Costco purchases, it really is a solid 3% or is it, I know it's 3% on US purchases. What is it on the regular? So no annual fee, 3% cashback value exclusively for Rogers, 2% cashback on US dollar purchases, 1.5% cashback, right? So overall, a really good card, to be honest, this Rogers one. And I really wasn't thinking about Rogers, but I'm glad asked it here. Martin, thank you. Yes, Martin brings out another good one, which is the Amex Simply Cash. Yes, it is still around. The Simply Cash Preferred card is one of my favorite cashback cards, but obviously that has annual fee attached to it. But the um, no annual fee version of that card, which is the Amex Simply Cash card, is a pretty solid one as well. Yes, Laura, you are right, 2% at Costco as well for Rogers card, which is why it sort of really makes it worthwhile having that card because it is one of the strongest cards to use for your Costco purchases. Yeah. Wealth Simple. Didn't pay attention to that one either. Is that what's the limit on that 2% cashback, Farzan, on the Wealth Simple card? Is a no fee allowing for 1% cashback on spending, no foreign exchange fee, ATM withdrawals? Yeah. And up to 2.25% interest on your cash. Yeah, yeah. Figured you guys would be able to throw in a few more options that I wasn't even thinking of. Yeah, but what, like I said, what took me by surprise is how little I dabble in this world of no annual fee cards. Uh, Not only for myself, but how little, and maybe that's the other piece that we need to improve upon on PMB is to write a little bit more about some of these cards that have niche value, even though there are no annual fee cards. So maybe that's something. Yeah, we line it up. We line up some best no annual fee cards for Canadians as a post, which would be nice, and we can update that every couple of months. Since we're talking about credit cards, may as well talk about a couple of good things that happened in Canada. First and foremost, if you have been dabbling in Momentum, Scotiabank Momentum cards, there's a whole bunch of them. So Momentum Visa Infinite Card, the obvious one, is the strongest of the lot. The good news is Scotiabank has brought in anytime cashback into their Momentum series, which is amazing. Up until now, you would had to wait until November to get all of your cashback. So your cashback would accrue, and then in November you'd be able to take that into your statement credit and use it. But now it's anytime. If you're a heavy user of Momentum Visa Infinite Card or Momentum cards in general, this is great news because now you can do it on a monthly basis if you needed to, semi-monthly, quarterly, whatever your interest may be in. And alongside, they've added a couple of newer categories to their earned rates. Food delivery becomes an exclusive option in that in the Momentum series. And so if you think about the Momentum Visa Infinite card, food delivery would earn you 3%. Is it 3%? Am I lying? Let's see. Let's confirm what this new food delivery. Yeah, 2%. I knew something was up. So the new 2% back on the Momentum Visa Infinite card is now food delivery, gas, daily transit. The obvious one is 25,000 annual limit. And the reason most people have this card is obviously the 4% cashback, a true 4% cashback on groceries, including supermarkets, by the way, recurring bills, subscription payments, and so on and so forth, which also makes it a great card if you were doing your taxes and whatnot and paying your taxes through that card, or paying your rent, or paying your mortgage, or rather, not mortgage, but your property taxes and whatnot. This makes a solid, simple 4% if you're doing it as a recurring bill back into your wallet. So yeah, that's good news. Better late than never, as I said, because some of the other cashback cards. One of the things that I've always gotten as a feedback for this card when you would recommend it to people would be, oh, I have to wait a whole year to get my cashback. While some people enjoyed that aspect, like they were almost like a piggy bank where you were collecting all of it. A lot of people, I would say most subscribers of that card, would want a little more flexibility, and it's a good thing that Scotiabank has finally made good use of it, good sort of use of that subscription subscriber portfolio and given them something positive to work with. Um, Sticking to sort of that Scotiabank ecosystem, the other news we heard was Tangerine is going to be coming up with their own premium card that earns Scene Plus points, which is fantastic news. Again, we kind of got a bit of a sneak peek when the entire Shell thing was happening with Scene Plus. Shell was joining Scene Plus. We saw the banner, and that banner, Scene Plus was consolidating a whole bunch of those other Scotiabank arms, and Tangerine was one of them. So we kind of knew something was happening between Tangerine and Scene Plus, and now we know it's a brand new credit card which will earn Scene Plus points. We don't know details beyond that, but it's a good time to be excited because, for one, Tangerine just hasn't offered anything else other than a simple cashback card, the no annual fee cards, the two cards that is World uh, World Mastercard and the plain Mastercard. But this is good to see something's coming up, another Scene Plus earning card that people can tap into, particularly if you, much like me, if you've been a fan of, say, the Amex card or the Scotia Amex Gold card, Scotia Platinum card, or the Passport card, Passport VIP card, and all of these Scene Plus earning points card. There's another one in the market that's going to be hitting us in spring. So stay tuned, and we'll wait and see what Tangerine sort of unfolds for us in the next couple of months through this new Tangerine Scene Plus earning card. Uh, I'm assuming, I mean, this is just a conjuncture. I'm assuming that there will be some annual fee to it because it's going to be and they're calling it a premium card. So I'm assuming that there's going to be an annual fee attached. There's going to be some earning capabilities for Tangerine members that can now use this card for everyday purchases and such. I don't see them building a brand new Tangerine card that'll go neck to neck with the Amex cards or the Passport card particularly, but if they can bring something in between and fill that gap, or have a non-Amex card that is as strong as an Amex Scotia Gold card, like, you know what I mean, would be amazing. I don't think it will be that giving. I'd be very surprised if it is, but I'm here for it. So let's see what comes. And speaking of card, we got just a little bit more news about the United Mileageplus Neo World Elite Mastercard that we spoke about last week. Well, they officially came through with join the waitlist for 5,000. We know that there'll be priority boarding and free check bag with that card. Elevated earn rates when you're booking United Metal or Star Alliance partners. And when you combine that news with what United already came through with, which is they're making their credit card ecosystem, the front and center of loyalty in that world. What that means is starting April 2nd, if you have their co-brand credit card with United in any country that United offers their co-brand cards, Canada pretty soon in a couple of months, then you'll have access to Saver Space a lot more. You'll get a 10% discount when you're redeeming on United Metal. Better yet, if you have their credit card, co-brand credit card, which is this new Neo World Elite card, and if you have status as well, if you have, say, silver status through the Marriott program, don't forget that if you are Marriott Titanium, you can easily get your status matched to Bonvoy Silver. I mean, not Bonvoy Silver, apologies, United Silver, which is a great way to sort of leverage this card for up to 15% savings on even Saver Space. And Rachel gave some great examples. If you haven't looked at the Points, Miles, and Bling post on this that Rachel did recently, definitely pull that up with some live examples. Even though they're saying that these savings for co-brand cardholders and elite members and stuff is coming in April. It looks like the system is already updated, at least for domestic flights. People have been able to see that. So that post also includes some nice screenshots of what you can do and what the possibilities are. So, if you are intrigued about this card as I am, there's nothing to lose. Put yourself on that wait list and see what, hopefully in the next month or so, we'll get to hear a lot more in terms of what the acquisition offer is, what the exact earn rates are going to be, and everything else that comes with as a core benefit on this card. So we'll have to just wait and see what comes. But at least if you are on that wait list and you decide to get the card, you have that additional 5,000 points to use. And if you decide that, hey, that card is not for you, so be it. You don't have to get that card just because you're on that wait list. But if you fly United enough times, I have been like consistently booking United Metal through Air Canada, to be honest. And a few times that I've used my United credits and whatnot, I put everything towards Aeroplan, just because Aeroplan is my default program. But with this new card in the system and with access to United miles a little more readily in the Canadian sphere of things, I'm a little more tempted to use this card, particularly with that Marriott status match to United Silver. If I'm able to unlock both, then I'm looking at up to 15% discount on award redemptions, including access to saver rates before more than what a non-credit card holder would have access to. So United Polaris, as much as I am not the biggest fan of the Polaris product as such, it's a very handy product, and it's something that I've flown a few times in the last couple of years. And like I said, although it may not be my first choice, it's right up there in terms of easy availability and easy redemption options. The last one I did was actually coming back from actually going to Australia. I flew Toronto, San Francisco, no, Toronto, LAX, Melbourne is what I flew. And on the way back, exactly same route, Melbourne, LAX, Toronto is what I'd flown. So, Martin comes in with a hot take. Polaris is better than Signature Class. I have to disagree on that, although not for me. And that might be true for maybe some people that are a little bit more on the United side. For me personally, when I think about Signature Class, I'm thinking about the entire experience of Air Canada, Aeroplan, and how I would get in that Signature Class to begin with. And I feel like given the Aeroplan ecosystem I live in, to me, Signature Class is far better and reliable product base in that Aeroplan ecosystem. But can I do a true hard product comparison? I don't enjoy Polaris and how dense it is, the configuration. I find Signature Class configuration on a wide body a lot more appealing uh, than I find it on a United, because United just jams too many of those Polaris seats in their cabins. The cabins are super high density, so not something I enjoy. But I've come to really, really enjoy Signature Class service with Air Canada. So for me, Air Canada still Signature Class still better than Polaris. Alex says, I have a feeling that the United Neo cards might flop or not do as well as United expects due to Neo's once a lifetime welcome bonus rule, unless that won't be a factor. Time will tell. Yeah, Alex, I don't know if they are ready to sort of completely unplug that and be like, yeah, anybody will be able to get the welcome bonus, because to them, obviously, it's a bit of attrition rate issue. It is a little more expensive when it becomes open to so many people with that welcome bonus. Plus, I got a sense that given how much whatever their financial agreements and commitments are with United, I don't think they're lifting that lifetime rule just yet. But yes, they understand that by having that rule, it really prevents a lot of the most engaged points people in this community, because they're already Neo members, that they wouldn't get go in for that card. But I guess what they're trying to position it as, there is enough there in that card by itself for you to not worry about the bonus itself, but get the card for all the core benefits, like the priority boarding, like the free check bag, like all of the savings that you can have even for having that card, which is 10% discount on United redemptions, and the elevated earn rates for having a co-brand card and such. So I think that's what they're banking on. And let's be honest, they understand this, that it's almost like a niche within a niche. This not, I mean, niche within a niche being United loyalty program in Canada, like how many Canadians are actively using or want to use United loyalty program. That's one layer down. And then the second layer down is how many of them are willing to get a Neo card and then change their habits and change their product usage when they're purchasing groceries or purchasing United Metal and things like that. Far majority of Canadians are very sort of intuitively ready to purchase Air Canada flights or a WestJet flight or something like that, and use, rather than go to United.com or whatever and try and book a United Metal flight out of United. That said, they understand that it's niche within a niche, but they're really entering into this market with United, much like they did with Cathay. The Cathay card was very similar. And from what I could tell, based on my numbers and things like that, Cathay card was very popular amongst the points people. And yes, it was one of their first co-brand cards that they had, and maybe that's why. Martin says, I find the entire experience. Oh, we are back to Polaris versus Signature. So Martin says, I find the entire experience better. Polaris lounges can be accessed on arrival, and unless you are flying paid J or Flex J with Aeroplan points on Air Canada, Signature Suite is quite limited. Sure. Yeah. Rather than calling it limited, what I would say is Signature Suites are a lot more exclusive to people. So it's not available for people that are coming on arrivals, for example. But over time, as we see a few more of these come through, like Toronto and Vancouver are the only ones that have it. Eventually, Montreal will get their own signature suite as well. So once they're there, maybe we'll see signature suites being available upon arrival as well. Maybe not, but I like the fact that it's that exclusive, and they're at least trying to maintain the level of exclusivity along with the kind of food and the drinks that go on in there. I've only been in there maybe one and a half times, um, half because I was invited to an opening in one of the previous ones, but then one time I genuinely visited the lounge. And both times the service was so elevated in the signature suite that I really enjoyed their food and cocktail a lot more, like significantly more than a Polaris menu that I've noticed. Polaris menus, there's nothing fancy about the food itself in terms of quality and presentation I've found, and I've done quite a few more Polaris experiences. And maybe that's why that is the case, just because the sheer number of people that can access a Polaris lounge, they're unable to produce elevated, curated plates of food for their customers. Um, a burger here, a salmon piece there, and whatnot is just not really elevated dining. The only elevated part about that is just the fact that there's a segregated dining room where you can access. Don't don't think I'm saying the food is bad. The food is not bad, but it's not elevated dining. But when you compare that to Signature Suite and the food that they serve there, the food is genuinely elevated in terms of the kind of dining experience you would expect at a slightly better restaurant and establishment in terms of fine dining, that is. Um, all right. What's next? Speaking of, since we're talking about US brands, may as well just hop straight into World of Hyatt. Well, we all have heard by now, hopefully. Hopefully, I'm not the bearer of this bad news to you for the first time. But World of Hyatt is basically going dynamic light, as I call it. They're hesitating from basically saying, "Oh, we are now exactly the same as a Hilton or a Marriott." They are now saying, "Oh, no, no, we are still different. We are still keeping our award chart." And instead of now calling it off-peak, standard, and peak, the three tiers, we are now going to have five-tier system, and we are going to call it lowest, low, moderate, upper, top, which is as silly to me as like explorers, globalist, and blah blah. Like the names that these guys come up with, or the lack of creativity in this tier system, from calling it lowest, low, moderate, upper, and top. If you're having five price points at every award level, you may as well just call yourself a fully dynamic program and be done with it. At least it'll not create any confusion. It's easy to know that, yeah, you know what, for all functional purposes, I am personally just going to think of it like a dynamic price system, and no longer will I worry about, oh, am I getting the lowest redemption tier? Am I getting a low tier? Or is my redemption a moderate one? Or is it the upper or top? Like, it's just so silly. It's just so gimmicky and markety. Does not make any sense to me personally. So, like I said, for functional purposes, if you are a World of Hyatt member, this is a massive devaluation. People are trying to give you the math around it, 67% and whatnot. Hey, doesn't matter if it's 67%, if it's 70%, it's a major devaluation. And now you should treat it as a fully dynamic program, regardless of what tier it falls under. If and much like the airline dynamic programs with the hotels as well, sometimes in off peak you'll find some really good rates that you wouldn't have otherwise found them at. And most times, I would say 85 to 90% of the times, when you want to travel, which is during peak seasons, expect to pay whatever their upper and top tier pricing is, or in the world of dynamic pricing, whatever it can be. The only thing that the keeping an award 5 tier, 7 tier, all of that aside, the only thing it does is at least like mentally you can tell yourself that, hey, my category 8 redemption cannot be more than 75,000 points. So at least the good news is it's not 100,000 plus, kind of like it is with Hilton and Marriott, but we're almost there, getting there. And yes, all the other things remain the same, the footprint and all of that. All of the other challenges are much the same. So yeah, true devaluation. And for a lot of people that, and including myself up until last year or the year before, that revered World of Hyatt, this is a massive, massive blow to their loyalty. Um, but such is life. This is not the first program to devalue itself over a course of time, and this won't be the last. So here we go. Grimsley says, are the 5 seasons based on fixed dates, time of the year, or occupancy rate of the day? Grimsley, I guess a combination of both. It's like asking, how does dynamic pricing work in the back end? Yeah, seasonality sort of dictates what availability will be like, and if availability or occupancy rate is what you're looking at, then yes, that's what causes the fluctuation between in the dynamic pricing, be it airline or hotel. So much the same. But yeah, the 5 seasons is under quote unquote. But yeah, so like I said, bears repeating. Functionally, it's a dynamic program now, with maybe the guardrails slightly there at both ends to give you a hint or an idea of what you can spend, or how much you are looking to spend. But when you have 5 tiers, that spread is so long, that spread is so big that you could be paying anywhere between, say, 50,000 at the lowest tier to 75,000 at the top tier. It's just, nah, just give me, and if you didn't have these tiers, and if the system just came back and told me, hey, your one night redemption at this category 8 is going to cost you 75,000 or 70,000 or 65,000, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's the pricing. It's a dynamic pricing, so I have nothing to argue with, and I'd just move on. But now with this 5-tier system. It just causes more confusion and more discussion than there needs to be. Now let's quickly transition to a couple of silver linings that they've given us. So Explorist, Globalist, Lifetime Globalist members, and the World of Hyatt credit card members will also receive early access to award night availability, which is great. So if you are Explorist or above, so that's like mid-tier or above. So Discoverist, I think, is the baseline. Explorist is 10 nights or more. Someone correct me, 10 nights or 15 nights or more. As long as you're Explorist or above, you will have access to uh, the you'll have access to the award night availability compared to somebody that is only a Discoverist or has no status. So again, another program that's telling us that having status is important, and people with status will be given preference over others, especially when it comes to award availability at saver rates and whatnot, or in their case, lowest rates might be available to people with status going forward. And the other piece that they'll do later in 2026 is members will be able to share their points digitally with other members. So instead of signing a piece of document and sending it in or calling in and asking for your points to be moved to your family member or friend's account or booking for them, you'll easily be able to just transfer your points to another person and they'll be able to use it however they see best, which is fantastic. Makes it super easy, convenient, and props to them for doing it, making it easier for everybody. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but in the recent year, it's been super easy to share your free night certificates from Hyatt or other things that you get through your status and benefits that you're able to digitally share them with other Hyatt members. So it's been super easy that way. So the IT system continues to be pretty good and customer forward in a lot of ways. So props to them there. Um, yeah, and that's going to be the world of Hyatt going forward. The good news is they've given us almost like a month's update, heads up, not update. Um, so if you are planning to redeem at a higher tier Hyatt property, this might be the time to go ahead and book all of your tier 7, tier 8 redemptions with Hyatt if you are going to use them. They have at least given you a full month to decide. In terms of promotions, there's a couple more. Let's just quickly go through them. I have an eye on the time as well here. Aeroplan has the 2x earn offer system-wide, which is fantastic. So you can earn 2 times the points. No registration required for any bookings that you make by March 11th. So no code or nothing required. So as long as you book your uh, Air Canada flights by March 11th or travel anytime in 2026 all the way through to December 31st, then you'll get 2 times the Aeroplan points on it. So whatever your base earn on that is, it'll 2x your standard earn rate will be 2x of that. Fantastic deal. If you were going to basically travel Air Canada at all, this might be the time to book it. So we are these 2x earn is the additional points. These are not SQ but these are not the SQCs particularly, just the points that you would earn. But if you're purchasing Aeroplan ticket Air Canada tickets, you will be earning SQC on them anyways. Uh, so yeah, not applicable on basic fares though. So that's the only stipulation. Other than that, pretty strong offer for those of us that are going to be traveling Air Canada for the rest of the year. So it gives us a little bit of time to look at if we can make our advanced bookings right now, if you know where you will be traveling and whatnot. So this is the time to do it. No, Laura, the good thing is Laura is asking, is there a code for it? There's no code for it. Uh, there's no registration required, no code required. As long as you book by March 11th, you will get your 2x earn. Anybody traveled to US in the last week since the entire shenanigan with the Nexus and Global Entry being available, not being available? Just because I was going to, oh, Martin says, yes, I have. And Martin, what's the verdict? I spoke to a couple of friends who were traveling across Toronto today. Yeah, T1 Toronto, they said it's open, good to go as of today. So Nexus global entry lanes have all reopened in Toronto for sure, and they've also reopened in Montreal and in Vancouver. Those are the only 3. I had people that were traveling across those three big airports, and all three Canadian airports now are reporting Nexus and Global Entry have reopened. Um, the lane is open, but machine is down. Okay, that could be that's no good. So they manually process it. Okay. Yeah, but the folks that I was speaking with, they had no issues going through a couple of minutes here or there. But yeah, they were able to use their Nexus and Global Entries. They they had just come in from the US and were heading back. So that's that. I didn't really ask them if it was half manual, half machine process or fully in the machine, but they were able to use the lanes and they were able to expedite themselves through these global entry lanes. I went on Tuesday, so they did today. Then that's new. Yeah. So at least two of the Montreal and Toronto were today. Vancouver one was maybe yesterday or whenever I got that notification from them. But I also noticed earlier today on the on X or Twitter, Toronto Airport had already announced that they have officially reopened Nexus and Global Entry fully, and it's back to its usual self, which is good. Cool. Uh, on the news of, well, I guess every news is travel news here, but Etihad is bringing back A380 service, not bringing back, apology, bringing a brand new route on for the A380. Anybody care to guess where the new A380 Etihad is flying to? I'll give you the current A380 routes that Etihad goes to. It's Toronto, London, Paris, Singapore, Tokyo, Narita, and now this new city. I'll give you a hint. Oh, there we go. Of course, Martin is right on it. Bangkok. So starting October 2026, Bangkok is the latest addition for the Etihad A380 service, which is again fantastic. And so for those of you that absolutely love flying first class Etihad or just A380 Etihad out of Toronto, you could go all the way from Toronto to Abu Dhabi, onwards from Abu Dhabi to Bangkok if you wanted to, and be in Asia, um, if that's what your heart desired. So, great news for points and I guess travelers in general. And all right, so here's another trivia. Since Martin is here, my brain is now all about trivias. Uh, which other airlines operate the A380 out of Bangkok? So you know Etihad will, starting October. Which other airlines operate A380 service out of Bangkok? And if you're Googling this, it's cheating, so don't Google. Qatar, yeah, Perminder, you're right. Qatar. Martin, correct. Emirates. And one more, I think one more. And that's the tough one. When I was looking up this Etihad A380 thing, that's when I bumped into it. I didn't even know this airline offered A380 service. What's TG? TG is Thai Airways. No, Thai doesn't operate any A380s now. All the A380s are parked in Bangkok for some reason. No Qantas. Hey, Qantas is coming to Vegas, by the way, a direct service from Australia all the way to Vegas. Does somebody want to check what that aircraft is? Maybe it is a 380, but I could be wrong about Qantas going to Vegas. So no, the airline that does the A380 service to Bangkok and hasn't been named yet is Asiana. Cool. Martin says it's probably the 789 or the 777 for the Vegas Qantas flight. But yeah, I didn't realize Asiana does A380 to begin with, let alone A380 from Bangkok. So yeah, learned something new. China Southern, no. So Asiana. So yeah, the A380 routes out of Bangkok will then, I mean, the airlines would be Emirates A380, Qatar A380, Asiana A380, and then soon enough Etihad A380 as well. Is that a restart or a new route? I don't recall it being there before. I have no clue. I'm going to assume that it was always there. I just never paid attention that Asiana had an A380, like I said, to begin with, let alone the fact that they were servicing Bangkok. But while I was puttering around in flight connections to see what other routes out of this Etihad thing does A380 service to Bangkok, I noticed Asiana. So I was like, huh, interesting. But yeah. Fun fact says Martin, Hong Kong, Bangkok is one of the busiest routes in Asia. Cool, folks. I'm closing this one up. Thank you, Martin. Thanks, Heather, Laura, Grimsley, Anthony, Alex, Farzan. Cheers, everybody. Perminder, thank you. Take care, folks. Bye.